Alright everyone, Cowboy Trades here, welcome back to the channel for another update on Bitcoin. So, after 27 days of boring sideways accumulation, Bitcoin whales have finally started to move and give us a little bit of insight into what the next direction for Bitcoin is. So, I'm going to talk about what Bitcoin whales are doing at this moment in time, what you should be doing at this moment in time, and how I'm going to be trading this impending move for Bitcoin. So let's dive right into the analysis and talk about how I'm going to be trading this move for Bitcoin. So, if you're a veteran of the channel and you watched our video yesterday, Bitcoin is disregarding global liquidity. We outlined a checklist of 3 different things we would need to see to enter a short position on Bitcoin following the breakdown of the bearish pennant. Number 1, we needed to see a breakdown from the bearish pennant. That's a given. Number 2, we needed to see volume come in to confirm this is a clear-cut breakdown. We saw that as well. And number 3, following the breakdown of the asymmetrical triangle and a move beneath the SFP range, we needed to see, number 3, a bearish retest of 30,200 and then a breakdown from 30,200. That's what we talked about in our previous video. And as you can see, if you are a veteran, if you are part of the Cowboy community, you may have noticed we have posted a trade over on our Discord where we have entered at 30,130 on a 10x leverage short. This is a 1-to-6 risk to reward ratio. Now, we've actually moved the stop loss down since the breakdown, so we are basically putting our stop loss at break even at this moment in time. So the Cowboy community over on Discord have got a free trade running at this moment in time beautifully in the profit. I do say this in a lot of my videos, but make sure you are part of the Discord community. Make sure you are following me over on Twitter. If you are only watching my YouTube videos, you're only getting about 80% of the value from being part of the Cowboy community. You'll get 100% of that value from turning notifications on from YouTube, making sure you follow me over on Twitter at 618_cowboy for extra news, charts, and timely updates. And number 3, becoming a member of the Discord community and turning notifications on for my Bitcoin trades channel, in which you will get some Discord exclusive trades in real time. When there are very time sensitive scalping opportunities, we will post these trades additionally over on Discord. So make sure you are part of the Discord community. If you are part of the Discord community, you may be in this trade with me, which is running at this moment in time. So this is my current trade setup. Like I said, we've actually moved the stop loss down to a break even. So like we said, this is literally a free trade, which is running at this moment in time. Worst comes to worst, we move up to the stop loss at 30,130, and this is just a break even. The best case scenario is that this is a perfectly timed short opportunity in which we're finally going to break underneath this SFP range for good and come down to our price target of the bearish pennant breakdown at 28,250. And I want to talk about right now why I think we could be getting ready for this breakdown from this SFP range very, very soon. So let's dive into the 1 hour time frame. You remember, if you're a veteran of the channel, we've been talking about this SFP range on the 4 hour time frame quite a lot. We've been talking about the fact how every single time we come underneath or above these blue boxes encompassing this boring 27-day sideways choppy range, we normally just ping pong to the other side, ping pong to the other side. But right now, things are setting up quite differently. And here's why. To the downside, in all of these SFP instances, we've seen very, very quick swing failure patterns. We basically have a 4 hour wick underneath the range, 4 hour wick underneath the range, and we are very, very quickly sent back up to the upside. However, for the first time that we've been in this 27-day range, you've seen a dip beneath the SFP, a bearish retest of resistance confirming with volume coming into the markets, and then another further dip underneath the SFP range. And if we come over to the 1 hour time frame, I want to show you what is happening right now over on the EMA ribbons, because you can see for the first time in 27 days, a little bit hard to see on the 1 hour time frame. It's a little bit ugly when we are zooming out this far on the 1 hour. But every other time we've dipped underneath the SFP range, you know, you've typically seen the EMA ribbons holding up quite strong. Either they've been green in the first instance, or when we did have these very, very quick SFP patterns underneath the range, EMA ribbons were, you know, very, very far to the upside, you know, still holding quite strong. For the first time that we are seeing this double dip underneath the SFP range, you're actually seeing the EMA ribbons come lower and lower and lower and lower. In the past 24 hours, we've seen multiple bearish retests of these EMA ribbons, and they are getting weaker and weaker and weaker. In fact, when we first were retesting these EMA ribbons after breaking down from the bearish pennant, we saw the EMA ribbons holding as resistance just at the apex of the bearish pennant. Then they were holding at the resistance previous support support line of this bull flag structure. Then if we come over to the 1 hour time frame, you can see they've just been going lower and lower and lower, and within the past half an hour we literally just retested the hourly EMA ribbons at the top of this blue box, which we have been outlining as this boring 27-day sideways range. So right now, yes, we are to the downside of this boring 27-day range like we've done many times before, but the weakness in the market is exponentially worse than all of these other instances where we've had quick SFP patterns underneath the range. And this is why, my friends, like I highlighted in the previous video and like I have posted on the Discord exclusive trade over in my Discord, of course, this is why I'm currently entering this trade for Bitcoin, because I think we are getting ready for that next move back down to the downside. So like I said, I just want to highlight my price targets very quickly on this range. Over on the 4 hour time frame, I do think we are coming down to this bearish pennant price target at 28,250. I do also want to highlight, if we just zoom out a tiny bit further and we do clear up this chart, you can very clearly see this is looking like the spiky top consolidation of a bar pattern. Now, to be conservative, I would like to come over to the daily time frame and highlight one thing. If we draw the candle body close right here from, the start of this SFP range, so you can kind of see this is predominantly the range that we've been trading in, and every time we come above it or come beneath it, we whiplash in the other direction without, any significant closes or retests in either direction. Now, typically when bar patterns are confirmed that they are having a bearish breakdown to the downside, these happen when you get a close underneath the bottom of the spiky range. Now, it depends on what time frame the bar pattern is developing as to what close you'd be looking at. So I'd be looking at the daily time frame and looking for a daily candle body close underneath 29,875. If you do see that daily close underneath this range with a retest right here, this could potentially be a very prominent bar pattern coming down to the price target of 24,700. There's also other price targets within this immediate vicinity. Like I said, in the immediate short term, I am kind of targeting this range right here at 28,250. This is also front running some other important oscillators. For example, if we come over to the weekly time frame, you can see the 200-week moving average is right here. This is this blue trend line. If we're looking at the EMA ribbons and the bull market support bands outlined over on this chart here, you can see bull market support bands will be showing a tiny bit of support at 28,100. The weekly EMA ribbons are starting to show support at 27,600. The 200-week moving average will be holding a tiny bit of support at 27,000. So having the take profit of this trade, this is just kind of, like I said, a scalp trade at 28,260, not trying to capitalize on any major move at this moment in time. If we do really have a solid confirmation of this bar pattern, there could be an opportunity to post another trade. Potentially, it may be another Discord exclusive one. Maybe it will be one over on YouTube, depending on how long the charts give us to react to this. Like I said before, if you missed out on this Discord exclusive trade because you are not a member of the Discord, the best thing you can do is come and join the Discord to make sure that you are in for that next trade that I do post. If you want to join, it's completely free. All you need to do is head over to my YouTube, click on the About page, and you'll find the invite link to my Discord down below. It will also be in the description of all of my videos. So there we go. Those are the main takeaways of what to keep your eyes on if you do want to see this breakdown from this very boring range we've been in for the past 27 days. Keep your eyes once again on the very important price target at $29,890. If we do manage to finally get a daily close underneath this, this could be confirming the bar pattern with a move down to, between 26,000 down to potentially as low as 24,700. Now, let's move on from what is happening on these charts in the lower time frames. Like I also said, Bitcoin whales are finally starting to make a move. We've been keeping our eyes on the addresses with more than 1,000 Bitcoin for quite some time now. They've been relatively stagnant since about the start of January, kind of slowly trickling down in 2023. The all-time lows for the whale wallets in terms of this bear market have been positioned at 2,007 addresses. In the past week or so, we've seen a drop from 2,038 down all the way to 2,019 addresses when we last updated this, and this has further dropped down to 2,015, meaning we are very close to seeing new all-time lows in terms of the whale addresses. Moving on from here, just a super quick update on the macro charts. We have been detailing that the put to call oscillator has been bottoming out for Bitcoin for quite some time now. This is really something in reference to the options market. So if we are looking at the put to call oscillator, as we've been discussing, there is a high interest in puts in the market right now. I'm going to make a specific video about this a little bit later on. If we do come over to the Fear and Greed Index and we do look at put and call options, you can see the put and call options ratio is literally extremely low right now. This is typically a very, very bearish signal. I've highlighted with these orange vertical lines what you typically see when there is large interest in puts over calls. This typically is a topping point for equity markets and also Bitcoin markets. And since we've seen the put to call bottom out, at least over in the put to call oscillator, we've seen Bitcoin be relatively stagnant and start to roll to the downside. And we're seeing other on-chain metrics, like I just showed you, detailing that the strength of puts is definitely outweighing calls right now, and the options market is definitely leaning bearish. If we come over to our most important Bitcoin chart, like I've been saying, we have been absolutely struggling to get above this resistance box at 31,150. We've been stuck underneath this for the past 5 weeks, getting rejection after rejection after rejection. This is one reason why I think, this boring spiky top consolidation phase is coming to an end, as we are just getting battered underneath this resistance box, looking like we're developing a bar pattern which wants to come down. I do also want to highlight the MACD right now. The MACD on the weekly time frame, probably in the next 1 or 2 weeks, is probably going to come down and have a bearish flip. Now, basically every single major MACD flip that has happened above the heart line, basically above the middle ground of the MACD, we've had bullish flips and bearish flips above or beneath this. But if we look at the bearish flips that have happened far above the heart line on the MACD, you can see there was one bearish flip right here, round about 56,000 for Bitcoin, and we saw another bearish flip for the MACD round about 57,000 for Bitcoin, and there was one quite recently round about here where Bitcoin went from 28,100 all the way back down to 25,000. Now, this was a very brief fake out in terms of the MACD. This doesn't happen too often, where you see a very, very quick fake out to the downside and then a move back up to the upside. What really happened because of this? Why did Bitcoin move down to 25,000? Well, because the markets were telling us it is bearish. Why did it then move from 25,000 all the way up to 31,800? Well, remember, this was driven by the hopes of institutional money FOMOing in because of the Bitcoin ETFs. And now the SEC has come out and given us clarity. They've said by their own words that the recent wave of ETF applications are insufficient to be accepted. This is good enough reason to believe that this is just going to be a one-off fake out in terms of the MACD, and potentially that next bearish flip that we do have coming for the MACD, which I think is going to be coming in about 1 or 2 weeks, could definitely spell imminent doom for Bitcoin, as we do potentially move down to the price targets we highlighted, starting off with 28,250, moving down to around about the 200-week moving average at 27,000, coming down to the bar pattern at 25,000, and maybe even coming down to the CME at 20,280. Of course, if you've been watching my channel, you do know that I still do believe that we are going to be making one final bear market low. So at some point, I do believe the 20,000 CME will be filled. Of course, in the next bull run, I think the 36,000 CME will be filled. Eventually, pretty much all of these CMEs get filled at one point or another. That's pretty much all I've got. Also, in terms of the total cryptocurrency market cap, you can see we are topping out underneath this 618 Fibonacci, which we have been detailing. This is still looking like a head and shoulders developing. If we come over to the total altcoin market, you can see we are solidifying that rejection from the long-term moving average on the EMA ribbons. The last time this happened, you saw a wipeout of round about 168 billion from the total altcoin market cap after you did get a rejection from the long-term moving average. Bear in mind, this was a higher high, up at a market cap of 664 billion. This retest was up at 620 billion. So the altcoin market in the macro time frame is still looking very, very poor. A lot of people recently I saw were talking about how a alt season is starting. And this is really, really hilarious to me, because this was the alt season. This 1 week of bullish momentum. Let me change this to orange so you can kind of see what this was. This 1 week of up is what people were calling an alt season. Now, the cryptocurrency markets seem to have a very funny notion of forgetting what happens in the ebbs and flows of the markets, because you may remember everyone was calling for an alt season back here. In fact, if I come over to the Bitcoin dominance, if I can find the Bitcoin dominance chart right down here, everyone, if I clear up this chart, everyone was calling for an alt season right here. You remember every YouTuber was calling for an alt season, because previously in the Bitcoin dominance, we got rejected from here on the BTC dominance. We got rejected from here, we got rejected from here, we got rejected from here. And everyone, as we were coming up to this resistance box, every cryptocurrency YouTuber was saying this is now a new alt season because we're going to see another rejection from this box. This is going to come down and altcoins are going to go absolutely parabolic. But what did we do? The Bitcoin dominance went on a absolutely huge tear to the upside. It absolutely blasted through this resistance, and as the Bitcoin dominance has come up and made a higher high, and in my opinion we are obviously been breaking down for the past week or so, I believe this is going to be a higher low, potentially flipping somewhere around about this range that was previous resistance as support. Very, very bullish before the Bitcoin dominance takes another leg to the upside. This is what we are calling an alt season. But remember, crypto YouTubers were saying the exact same thing over here, that we're about to start an alt season, but Bitcoin dominance is making higher lows, guys. So it's very, very funny. Keep in mind, whenever you see cryptocurrency YouTubers, whenever you see crypto influencers talking about the fact that this is an alt season, remember, most of them said the exact same thing down here when the Bitcoin dominance was at 47.5%. Now it's another alt season while the Bitcoin dominance is at 50%. The Bitcoin dominance will probably move up to 56%. And then as it comes down to maybe 55%, once again, we'll see another higher low in the Bitcoin dominance. And we'll probably see cryptocurrency influencers talking about the fact that there's another alt season happening somewhere round about here. The market ebbs and flows, guys. It doesn't just go up or down in a clear direction. It goes up, down, up, down, up, down. You've got to keep your eyes on the higher trends that are happening in the macro time frame. Bitcoin dominance is very, very bullish right now, and the altcoin market cap is getting rejected from the long-term moving average of EMA ribbons, which are bearish on the weekly time frame, and it has made a lower high and it is solidifying a rejection right now. This is not an alt season, guys. If this is an alt season, well, I would hate to see what an altcoin bear market is, because altcoins are getting absolutely obliterated in the higher time frame. So for today, my friends, that's all I've got. Because the markets have been a little bit boring for the past few days or so, I'm actually in the background looking at some new economic data on the Bloomberg terminals. I will be making a new video potentially tomorrow titled something like updating global liquidity. You may remember, the other day we came on and we were talking about the global net liquidity. This is just a very, very brief amalgamation of the net liquidity in the ecosystem. What I want to do is take a deeper dive into global net liquidity, taking things a step further, talking about things like the interest rates, talking about things like the availability of credit, talking about things like credit tightening conditions, looking at things like the US Treasury cash balance, the Fed balance sheet, the M2 money supply, and really just taking a deeper dive into the global net liquidity instead of just looking at a very brief amalgamation on one oscillator on TradingView. So keep your eyes peeled for that in the next 24 to 48 hours. For today, my friends, that's all I've got. As always, you guys have been doing an amazing job of smashing that like button recently. Pretty much all of the videos in the past week or so have been hitting the trending page, averaging about 2,000 views per video, 150, 160 likes per video. So massive shout out to all of you. Thank you for the support. As always, you know what to do. If you do appreciate the content, make sure to leave a like and a comment, share the videos with your friends. If you want to further support the channel, click on the join button on YouTube and become a member today. Make sure you are a member of the Discord and you are catching all of these additional Scooby snacks. Make sure you're not just watching the YouTube channel. Make sure you're also over on my Twitter. Make sure you're also over on my Discord, so you are getting all of the benefits of being part of the Cowboy community. For today, my friends, that's all I've got. It's been your boy Cowboy Trades. I'll see you very soon. I'm out. Peace.